What is going on, guys, and welcome to the Ghost 4v4 Search and Destroy Tournament for tonight. We're starting off round number 1 between Hunnit and the team known as Whitewalkers. I've been informed by the broadcast team. It's not actually how you spell Whitewalkers, but it's fine. It doesn't really matter. I don't even really watch the Game of Thrones that often, so I do apologize about that. Maybe I can start to get on the grind. But speaking of grinds, we've been doing some tournaments recently, trying to cast as many Ghost tournaments as possible, and have had a lot of fun, actually. So kind of been getting affiliated with a lot of the Ghost players as of recent, and one of those has actually been Mr. Nadeshot himself, as he's currently going to be sitting in a 1-on-2 scenario. Nice hip fire to finish off the second. Picks off TJ Halley. And now one more player left. That is going to be the man known as Decimator. Playing with that vector out and has a perfect angle right now if Nadeshot was to go down those stairs. But unfortunately for him, it's not going to be the case, and with only 28 seconds left, Nate does not have a perfect line set toward the bomb. Decimator firing away some shots, and now Nadeshot trying to go for the challenge. Knows exactly where he's at. Tries to pre-fire forward. And Decimator might have spotted him going through that corridor, but due to him aiming here, he might not know. And just like that, too many numbers, too many players. Decimator able to walk away with the one-on-one engagement and secure the first round in his team's favor for the side of Whitewalkers. So, like I said, we've been doing quite a few tournaments over the last few days. Ended up having a tournament last night as well. It is currently the 30th of August, and last night we did having one on August 29th, and that's obviously had the tournament go down to, I believe the grand finals were Champions versus Hunnit. So the side of Hunnit has been here before, been in the last few tournaments that we've been broadcasting here on some Call of Duty Ghosts, but they've added a few new players. The only two remaining players is obviously Nadeshot and Blastful, adding Imbos, who played for MFAM Hunter T last night, in which I believe he ended up actually losing to this squad as well, and also adding Formal to the lineup. Many know, of course, Formal from the current Optic Gaming roster, and considered one of the best Call of Duty players really of all time, I think at this point it's fair to say, especially with the recent ring. Definitely a lot easier to say that, but currently talking about the side of Hunnit, they ended up taking round number 2. Didn't really get to take a look at really exactly what was going on, but there's actually a Reddit post last night, or actually this morning, that ended up coming out of Formal's insane snipe, actually on this exact map with the exact same gun, and he ended up getting a clat. And it was very impressive, to say the least. So this man Formal, known for his sniper play, not just in jetpack CODs, but obviously in boots on the ground ones as well here in Ghosts. As he's definitely not someone that you want to challenge when he's got this sniper in hand. Current defensive team right now, like I said, is the side of Whitewalkers, playing pretty passive for this current defensive hold, not trying to give away any lines of sight. And just as that happens, Imbo's finding the first blood. That one goes down on TJ Halley. Just as that happens as well, Retrix able to respond, shuts down Nadeshot, so 3-on-3 scenario. Thermal still peeking through mid-map, switching over here to Blastful, and it looks like Imbo's as well. He's starting to back up, trying to maybe think of a certain lines that they can go forward to get this one down. Formal looking over, not spotting anyone right now, and Formal's in a really important position for them because he can find a pick. He can kind of get a little bit of an idea as to where that setup is. He's got 2 players toward his left, 1 player in bottom red. That currently is Crucifying. Here comes the push right back around. Decimator getting ready to spot 2 players. 1, give me 2, and just like that, it's all going to be up to 1 last player, which was Formal, and he will drop in the end as well. So with that, that will be a nice retake there coming in from the side of Whitewalkers. Firing a few extra shots. It's going to be Retrix getting the defuse, and Retrix might be getting a little bit of a comeback in some cases, getting some revenge rather. Ended up facing off against the exact team of Hunnit last night. He ended up playing for a team known as World War II Champs team, where he ended up playing with, I think it was like JCap and Slacked as well, maybe even TJ Halley, I think, too. So him and TJ Halley kind of reforming to force of the World War II Champs team from last night, trying to get the revenge versus the Hunnit side. So we'll have to see how that does go out. Blastful switching back to that Thermal Remington. Currently watching that flank swaps classes, and no one's really engaged at the moment. There would be 1 player who could be getting up close and personal. That is going to be Crucify. Throws out that stun to try and open the gate and might try to cut his losses, but has a nade ready to go. Trying to counter a potential push that goes through, but it's not going to happen. Rushes too aggressively, and Blastful is ready and waiting. That Vector pre-aiming very, very well. Decimator finding 1 in bottom red. Or excuse me, Retrix finding one in bottom red, still on his perspective right now. He's trying to peek through those bottom train tracks. One is in top 3 right above him right now. That is going to be Nate Shot. If he was to poke his head up, he could definitely be spotted at the moment. One player getting ready to get in a gunfight. Actually, maybe even a knife fight at that. Retrix shutting down yet again another player. This time it's Blastful. 2-on-2. Retrix still with the bomb in his hands. And Nate Shot's still up instead of red. Is he going to get spotted? Yes, he does. Retrix doing a great job in this round, and just as that happens, Formal shuts down his teammate. One-on-one play. This would be a big round for Retrix and co, and Formal just has to peek around the corner, spots him, and realizes that's going to be the last player, so he's going to get the defuse as well. So a 1v1 this time going in favor of Formal. I think both of these players may be finding hat tricks in this round, if my mind does serve me correct. I know Retrix had at least 2 kills in this one, and Formal might have found 3 or even 4 kills. I'm not even sure, to be totally honest with you. But still, dominant performance of both of these players, and in the end, it was Formal who was able to get the 1v1 victory. Not a whole lot of time for Retrix to kind of make that site rotation, try to get the bomb down over on B. So had to kind of set up for that A plant. That's what happens when you are on offense. You have limited opportunities when you play the rounds a little bit slower. Look through the eyes of Blastful right now. Shots already coming in. Nate Shot finding a first blood. That one on Retrix. Decimator finding one on Formal. It looks like as the shots do continue to come in, Imbo is going to spot at least one player toward the back A site. One clearly seeing a top 3. I think Imbo did spot him, but did that player top 3 spot him is the question? No. Now he does. Teammates already calling that one out, and now Blastful going to be in an awkward spot. 1-on-2. Spots one going through bottom fire. Can he finish off the kill? But no, TJ Halley wraps back around. And I believe he finds the final 2 kills in this one. And that's just a nice little reverse jump shot back. A very difficult angle to do that. A very awkward gunfight as well. If you are TJ Halley in that case, you're already weak. You peek back out, already being one shot. And in the end, regardless, you're able to win the gunfight. Nice consistency there coming in from Tej. And of course, we do talk about TJ Halley, a recent addition toward the Rise Nation roster, heading into Call of Duty World War II and trying to prove that he's not a jetpacker. Because there's a lot of rumors going on about people being jetpackers. Speaking of TJ Halley, let's actually look at TJ Halley's perspective right now. Looking up in red at the moment. Of course, no one going to be there for right now. Offensive team playing pretty passively. One player just on the other side of this train. That's going to be Nate Shot. Peeks back out and spots TJ Halley toward top white. Takes a few shots in the side, but at least stays alive. And Formal at the same time shuts down Retrix. Crucified trying to level things back at a level playing field, but Nate Shot comes around the corner, tags up one, and gets the assistance from his teammate. And now it's all up to Decimator. Spots one. That should be Nate Shot. Can he finish off the gunfight? Yes, he does. Nice headshot earned. There's one player top 3 right now. This is Imbo's. He knows and has every single angle locked down of where Retrix could go. And Decimator shuts down Formal. What's the play from Decimator? Can he get escape from the situation? But no, Imbos is ready and waiting. That's a good line sight for Imbos to hold. Of course, he does have that little option for that player to run back. Kind of watch that perspective of every single angle. And it's easy pickings there for Money B. Money B currently sitting at 5-4, along with Formal at the top right now. As we'll see what the side of Hunnit will do when it comes down to this next offensive round. Of course, currently sitting at 3-3. We'll see who can grab the lead in this round number 7. Smokes out. We'll see how Nate Shot's aggression can be proved here. Making his way forward. Spots one there. Able to make it work. Firing a few shots. And no, actually, TJ Halley finds a nice 2-piece through the smoke. I'm not sure if TJ Halley ended up having the thermal on, but yes, he does. Shuts down the 3rd, and he wants the 4th. Can't find that one, but his teammate's going to be there for the help. TJ Halley doing it all in that round, finding 3 kills, along with the major assistance on this final player. Only about a bullet and a half, I think, needed there for Decimator to pick off that final player from Hunnit. So nice job there from TJ Halley. That's the thing with smokes in this game, man. They're very, very beneficial. There's a lot of guys rocking those thermals on their Remingtons. Going to take a look at Crucify, excuse me, from the side of Whitewalkers. Stuns being exchanged, and it looks like Retrix able to find that first blood there on the likes of Nate Shot. Shots continue to come in. Looks like Blastful shooting down TJ Halley in that exchange. One player making his way up pretty closely is going to be Retrix. Could spot one from behind, and yes, shuts down Formal. 2 on 3. Imbos ends up dropping and making a 1 on 3. Blastful trying to find one up top 3 instead of Red, able to do that. And it looks like Decimator should spawn. I was going to say Decimator just looked toward his right. And I've been talking about this quite a few times when I've been able to cast Call of Duty Ghosts, is that you can really tell the difference over time in the COD titles, as you know, as obviously graphics have progressed, as far as the overall color of the game has progressed as well. You see quite a few times that you do have that Oracle mode on, how often players miss each other when they're right next to one another, and that was definitely one of those moments. Unfortunately, he was able to wrap back around and spot the final player there and wins the gunfight, but regardless, you'll see quite a few of those moments here tonight, and a lot of our matches happening in the 4v4. Much like the past rounds, early gunfights happening, and literally only 3 players left in the lobby. Formal trying to sit back, and he will drop as well, and that's going to do it for the game. We started at 3-3. We started talking about how close this game was getting, but back-to-back rounds right now for the Whitewalkers, as they're going to close out this game and win this one 6 rounds to 3, and now are going to be up 1-0 in the series. And we're back in the Ghost 4v4 Search and Destroy, loading in here toward map number 2. It will be S&D on Sovereign. Of course, trying to recollect our thoughts as we end up seeing a 3-round sweep at the end, coming in from the side of Whitewalkers. They end up closing that one out 6 rounds to 3. Like I said, as we focus our attention now toward Sovereign, we're heading in toward round number 1, and just like that, Decimator, realizing all of his teammates are down, and only seconds later, he ends up getting dropped as well. Shots coming in from Blastful and Imbos, both finding 2 kills. Secure this round in their favor, as we'll now progress forward. Curious to see the sniper usage potentially on this map. By no means is it one that you're not going to see, and it looks like Formal going to tease us for just a moment. Swaps back to that Vector. And what does Nade Shot have? I guess just normal Vector. I swear I keep seeing suppressors or silencers on some of these weapons. I'm not sure what exactly it is, but either way, Nade Shot actually known for the MSR suppressive meta, so maybe that's what I'm thinking. I'm not exactly sure. Either way, Nade Shot, speaking of the name, finds the first blood. Blastful quick to respond as well. Shots coming in, and the side of Whitewalkers are beginning to have issues, it seems like. Crucified, if he was able to clutch this one out, it would be the ace, as well as a 1-on-3 clutch, so that one not looking extremely likely. Tries to turn on one player coming from those stairs. However, Imbos is able to watch the cut. Able to finish off the kill. Nice and easy coming from Control, as Imbos still yet to die, as well as Formal. But Imbos has the more impressive scoreline right now. Currently sitting at 3-0. Looking pretty good right now, to say the least. Of course, Imbos making it himself known on Twitter that he is also a free agent coming into World War II. Of course, people speculating, could Optic Nation be coming back? Could Imbos find a team? Could he become Optic's new fourth? Are they going to drop Scump after all? I thought it was a joke, but still. Curious to see if Imbos could try to make a run yet again in the Boots on the Ground title. Try to make his comeback. Nade Shot, 1-on-4. These are both teams being picked off very easily. Back-to-back-to-back 1-on-3s for the final player from whatever team it has been. And of course, not a whole lot of success, as it's if you're not used to watching Call of Duty, it's very odd or very sparse that you ever see a 1-on-3 or 1-on-4 clutch. Not normally one thing that will happen. But along with Imbos making himself known on Twitter, Nade Shot has also kind of teased a little bit on whether he'd like to come back to competitive Call of Duty, and it's been kind of fun being able to spectate, being able to commentate over these guys as they do compete, obviously, in UMG Online tournaments, trying to decide whether or not they're having a time and trying to warm up potentially for what could be another year of them competing. Trying to make it back to the competitive scene. Imbo's not the best shot in that situation. Formal, gets the knife to the heart. Retrix finding the last 2. I want to see this. Sees Imbo's, actually picks him off, and is this MW2? That's unfortunate. Formal's probably not exactly the most excited, or probably not the most vocal right now in the comms at the moment, as he's going to swap off of that Vector. Decides to put Remington back in his hands, and most likely going to play pretty stationary for the most part when it comes down to this defensive hold. Spotted a Nade Shot, and it looks like maybe Blastful, or yeah, Blastful and him making their way over toward A. Nice bait and switch situation in some cases as Nate Shot finishes off one. Formal still holding that back line, finishes off one player as well. Maybe knows that there's one player near that nest side as one makes his way toward bottom, and Formal's easily going to make note of both of those guys as he finds CJ on the flank and Decimator just jumping out of that B site. Nice turnaround. Immediately checks to the site, and Decimator couldn't have asked for worse timing in that situation. Just walks right into the reticle there of the Optic Formal. Time to look at the opposite side. Let's go and take a look at the side of Whitewalkers. What exactly is not necessarily going wrong, because of course they have won 2 out of the 5 rounds, but what's exactly the reasoning why they haven't been securing a few more of these? Decimator currently sitting at 1 and 3 right now, making a similar peak to what exactly we just saw in that last round from Nadeshot and a Blastful. Nadeshot dropping, Blastful with a nade cooked, just up the ladder. And toss that one forward. No information gained, but regardless, a kill. Goes down, spots one player toward that backside spawn, and actually has one player just peeking around toward Nest, able to escape that situation. So with that 1-on-3 situation right now for Blastful, he's in a room, he's all locked up, and this should not be a gunfight that he is going to come away with, and that is not going to be the case. Retrix able to pick it up a little bit here, finds a few more kills to add over toward his total. Spots in here toward computers and makes it a nice and easy finish. Of course, Formal 1-on-3 situation. Or excuse me, Blastful 1-on-3 situation, not the easiest one to get out of, especially when you are in a room with only 2 entry points, and you have at least 2 enemies looking at every single one. So, with that, we're now level at 3 rounds apiece. Of course, these are best of 3s, ladies and gentlemen. Nate getting pretty bad timing there with that machinery getting in his way, but of course, these are best of 3s, so only 3 more rounds needed into this map for the side of Whitewalkers. And they could advance and send the side of Hunnit home packing in just the round 1 match. So we'll have to see how things do progress. The side of Hunnit can't afford to lose any excess rounds at the moment, and not exactly what you want to see right now as 2 players end up dropping from the side of Hunnit. 3-on-2, main advantage right now for the side of Whitewalkers. Decimator firing some shots toward the back. Sends your rat back in here toward Map Room, and just like that, Formal shutting down yet again another player. He's quickly going to get met, and Blastful seeing instead of Nest, finds one. Tries to pre-fire the second, but just toward that second entry point. 25 seconds left to work with. They're going to keep in mind, Blastful still has to get the defuse. Decimator trying to check inside a bomb, and can Blastful win the gunfight? Yes, that's a big win that Blastful gets. Checks the right corner, knows that the player has to be nearby, as he will secure this round toward the side of Hunnit, as they're now going to go up 4 rounds to 3. And Blastful will join alongside Formal at the top of the scorecard for the side of Federation, aka, like I said, the side of Hunnit. And if you do or have spectated any UMG Online tournaments, the name Blastful has definitely been on the mind as of recent. Well, I wouldn't even say recently. I would just say toward the end of around Black Ops 3 IW time. Definitely made himself known as a top online player. Just as that happens, both Formal and Imbos responding for a few, but a quick response actually coming in from both Crucify and Decimator. Crucify ends up dropping from the side. Nadeshot finds that kill, and Decimator has to go big, finds one. 1-on-1 scenario. Nadeshot versus Decimator. This round would put the set of Hunnit on map point and level the series up at 1-1. Of course, like I said, 2 more rounds needed, but would do a lot for the overall morale of the team. Decimator just trying to play pretty passively right now here toward that mid-cut, basically more toward A, but has a good option to change sites whenever he wants to. Peeks around the corner. That's a great timing he gets there on Nadeshot. It was kind of checking 2 different line sites, so kind of a 50% chance he would have checked both of those. And kind of an awkward, not really an awkward line sight to hold, but definitely not a position that you see too many players hold when it comes down to a 1-on-1 engagement. So Nadeshot not expecting that player to be there, but regardless, the clutch will come out in the end. So 4 rounds apiece now. As we'll see what the offensive team vends to do. Will they go for a cross and A, or are they going to go for a standard hit? Of course, tossing stuns. Getting some information is the either side. Embo's tossing a stun as well as the frag to go along with it. I can see too many early first bloods due to those nades, but just as I say that, TJ Halley finds one. Banks that went off the computers. banks it off the monitor, maybe, as those papers do go flying. Someone's paperwork just went all over the floor. How unfortunate is that? Shots coming in from Crucify. It looks like TJ Alley shuts down Formal 2-on-4. Both Blastful and Nade happen to do some damage. Nade shot finishing off. Rat Trick Decimator will find the final two, both picking off Nade shot and Blastful to now put the side of Whitewalkers on series points. As they're now going to be up 5 rounds to 4. Of course, like I said, they did take map number 1. Took that one on Freight 6 rounds to 3 and looking very, very strong coming into map number 2 as well. As I feel like it's only right that we do look along the lines of Hunnit right now. Nade shot will progress with this bomb, and it seems like on offense we are going to see an A hit, so not a very common one. Making an off-site push right now is the offensive team. And a very risky play at that. TJ Halley rounding the corner saying it's a little bit too quiet. Spots one player. He's going to call that one out to his teammates. Maybe a pinch could try to get formed or something along those lines. A Formal finds one. Crucify finding Nade shot. 3-on-3 now. Blastful finding one from the side. That's going to be on Crucify. One player edging his way toward the bomb. He gets dropped, and now Decimator gets gifted 1 kill from behind. 2 more players left to try and fight off against, but no, he's not able to stay alive. So that push toward A is going to work out for the side of Hunnit. Of course, all 4 players from the side of Whitewalkers made a defensive hold to brush toward B. They're banking on a pretty normal strategy heading into round number 10, but that is exactly the opposite of what we do end up seeing. So now it will be a round 11, and it will be the side of Hunnit who has to try and do it again on offense. And you've got to imagine at the back of the minds of the Whitewalkers is that could that push toward A be one that is likely? Crucify going to be the only player here to kind of maybe watch that mid cross. And if you go to the side of Hunnit, a first blood would be huge. Just as I say that, money bows being made in that first blood. You almost have to find this kill if you are the side of Hunnit. And there we go. Another player ends up dropping. Third player ends up dropping. Formal, we need a miraculous play out of you. 1-on-4, spots one. Spots another player coming from that nest side, but yes, he will get met. And in round 11, it will be the side of Whitewalkers who take this one as they close out the series in a 2-0 fashion, taking game number 1 on Freight. 6 rounds to 3. And in map number 2, or game number 2 here on Sovereign, that closes one out in a round 11.